Hey everybody, and welcome to Tribal Trading. It's so great to be with you again as we go through my top 20 projects for this bull run. It's my crypto cheat sheet, part 5. We've already done 12 projects. You can check out the other parts that are live on the YouTube channel. And wherever you are tuning in from the world, thank you for joining. Please help support this channel by smashing the like. You can also subscribe, activate the bell notification for future videos when they come out. I also have a bunch of referral videos underneath for different exchanges from Coinbase to Bybit, Mexi, and so forth. So please go and check those out. And if you haven't signed up for some of those exchanges or want to, please click and use those referral links. Those exchanges as of today are all doing rewards, whether it's free crypto or reduced trading fees. I also have a NordVPN link, which is for a virtual private network. This is very inexpensive. It's only a couple of bucks a month, and you get a few free months, or as of right now, you get a few free months by clicking on my NordVPN referral link. And I do cover a lot of the exchanges and NordVPN in a different video getting started, so please check that out as well as the rest of my content. Okay, so this is my top 20. Some of these coins, some of these coins have already run up. Some of these coins already run up, and some of them have yet to run. Some of them, it's all risk. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. So please be aware that this is, I've gotten most of these coins at lower prices than some of the higher entries that I have right now. But I also have some of those lower entries as well also. So we're going to jump into the first one on the list, which is, these ones are showing and they should not. So you got a little bit of an early sneak into those, what they are. But the first one here is Ondo. And so I'm not going to go into the utility of these. Again, I look at three things. When I look at a crypto token, I look at the community, I look at the utility, what use case does it have? What problem is it solving? And then you look at tokenomics. You look at who are partners with this token, what have they invested into it, and I look at the tokenomics. So with Ondo, if we look at the tokenomics, they're not going to be crash hot, and that's okay as long as there's enough people to scoop up the rest of the supply that comes in. So we talked about fully diluted valuation. What is that? It means there is 14% of the entire circulating supply of this token is on the market right now. So out of the 10 billion tokens that are out there, only 1.4 billion are out there circulating. Where are the rest? A lot of times these are locked up with the founders, and they're locked up with venture capitalists, seed round investors, etc., marketing and the team. And so you have to be careful. You have to be careful because there are token unlocks, and there is a website you can go to, and I'll do a full breakdown video on things like fully diluted valuation and where to look for to find when those token unlocks are, and to be careful around that time because there could be a big dump in price. But yes, Ondo is flying at the moment, and it's had a big run up. And so we're just going to look into the prices that we have there. So this is the only, but like as I said, if it's popular enough and there's people to buy and scoop up these tokens, then it's usually just short-term drops. And sometimes the tokens are locked up for 3 or 4 years, and so they're not going to hit until the bear market or the next bull cycle. And so therefore, this is why you've got to look into this and do a little bit more research. We're not here to do that on this video. I'm just going to give you my top 20 and give you some entries and some possible targets for the top. And so the first entry we have here is right about where it is now at $1.28. And that's an aggressive entry. There are also entries at $1.15, 90, and 75 cents. And as I've said in previous videos, and this might be your first time watching one of my videos, here's the way that I trade. There's just two things that I look for when I'm looking at a token is if I don't have it. If I don't own a token, the first thing that I think is, do I love this token? Do I really want to? Do I really believe in this? Do I really love it? Do I really see more upside, even if I'm getting an aggressive entry? If the answer is yes, I will generally buy at an aggressive entry. And if I had $500 right here to put towards Ondo, I'd put $100 right now at $1.28. throw in another 100 at $1.15, 100 at 90, and maybe 200 at 75 cents. That way that if it takes off from here and doesn't come back until the next bear market or something, or doesn't come back ever, who knows, at least I have an entry. Now, the other side of it, if I look at it and go, yeah, Ondo, I like it, but I don't love it. And so therefore I only like it in an area of interest. And I'll create an area of interest where I would be prepared to get an entry in on this token. And if this was the case, I would say, look, I would somewhere between probably 75 and 90 cents would be my area of interest and where I would put my first buy in. But again, I would do it the same way. If I had $500 for this token, I would probably put a little bit more in. I'd probably put about 200 to 250, or maybe 200 at $90, $90, 90 cents. And then maybe $100, $200 at 75 cents. And if we drop a little bit lower, I would probably create a third tier under that, but it might be likely that it just never gets down there. So I would approach it a little bit differently. Okay. And so that's how I would work with this. I have a potential top of around $5 to $6. It's already run up a lot. I'm going to just be fully transparent here. I'll be scaling out. Just as I scale into tokens, I also scale out of tokens, and I will scale out of Ondo at 3x, 5x, 10x, but I also scale out at local tops. And so what is a local top? I'm going to explain that in a different video. But when I feel that the market has really topped out, like Bitcoin, when it kind of hit 74K and had gone 7 up for 7 straight months, I took a bunch of profit across my altcoins before we had this big drop down to 56K, okay? And I did tell a bunch of people out there to do the same. Some did, some didn't. Some wish they had, obviously, okay? So, and I also trade, with Ondo, there's 3 ways that I trade. Obviously, I have the trade bag, and the trade bag is where I get in a trade and I get out of a trade and I'm done with the token. If Ondo was that, I would already be out of Ondo because I'm up significantly. I would close out the entire trade in profit and I would have no more Ondo. The second bag that I have, or the second trading strategy that I have, is the holding strategy, or the HODL strategy. With Ondo, if this was with Ondo, I would just be scaling out on the way up until we get to about where I've sold about 90% of my Ondo tokens that I had accumulated. And therefore I leave a moon bag of somewhere between 10 or 20% just in case the bull run extends and continues, or Ondo goes way higher than what I think. Maybe it goes to $10 or $11. I still have 10 or 20% left of Ondo to run up. And if it drops, I'm happy to hold 10 or 20%. And I explain it that if I put $100 into Ondo and I do 10x on Ondo, I've made $900. I have $100 left as my moon bag. So if Ondo does another 10x, then I'm going to be up another $900, which I would take out, rinse, repeat, and then the market goes down, no problem. And look, if I've sold and made $900 worth of Ondo and I've got $100 left and I put $100 in, okay, I don't have a problem if it drops and the bear market goes all the way down. I have to hold that through a bear market, or if it goes to zero, because I've made the money. I've got my original capital out plus more. And my goal always with every token is to always look to get my original capital out as soon as possible. That's why I like taking profit and starting scale out at 3x. So once we're up 300%, I like to take out, if I put $100 in, I like to take at least $100 out. Now I've got my original capital out, okay? And then the third way my third trading strategy is where I would accumulate. And how do I accumulate a coin? Is it's the same way. So if it was Ondo, I would be scaling out on the way up, but I would also be scaling back in on any major dips so that I'm growing and getting more and more Ondo as I go up, and I can take more and more profit on the way up on that token. I did that with Solana. I got in at 13 and then I sold out at, I think it got to 200 and something, and then it dropped back down again and I scaled back in, and then I was able to make more money as a result of that as it reached its top in the mid 200s. And so it's very important for you to have your own trading strategy. It doesn't have to be mine. I'm not financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is just what I do. So this is just for educational entertainment purposes only. Be careful out there. Crypto can be tough. There are a lot of scams, a lot of rug pulls, a lot of bad players out there. And this is why I'm putting out this project, the top 20. And look, even I don't know what Luna was in the last cycle. Was it a top 20 coin or whatever? And that went to zero and never recovered, unfortunately. And these things can happen. That's why I always believe I'm always a big believer. And also remember, you know, if you went around for the last bull cycle, we had two tops. Bitcoin tops at 64 and then it topped at 69. It crashed down in April 2021 and then it pumped again from July through to November. But this is what I know to be true because I had a bunch of altcoins. I wasn't expecting the drop in April 2021 and I didn't take profits on them. I was just thinking, I'm just going to let this run for another 6 months. It's going to keep going. And I should have been scaling out on the way up and I wasn't. Certainly, there was a time where I did some scaling and I thought, you know what, I'm just scaling out. I'm just, now I'm going to do it. And these altcoins dropped back down again in April 2021 and they never went up with Bitcoin. A bunch did, like Solana and others went on that second phase of the bull run, but many, particularly the lower cap alts, just never recovered. And so just don't think because, oh yeah, the Bitcoin top is going to be on this date, that all the altcoins tops will be on that date. They could top out some could top out much earlier. And so this is why I always recommend take your profits on their way up. Nobody ever lost money taking profit. I always encourage, you know, myself that I should look whenever I'm thinking about, oh, I'm just going to let it run. You know, just to take that original capital out, and then it becomes a bit of a more of a risk-free trade. Okay, so the next one is we looked at Ondo, and we already know what the next one is because I had already had it exposed. But here it is. It's Pendle. So Pendle's a tough one right now because it's sitting at around I think $6.80 something, and that's always a little bit of a concern for me because the top on this one, so it's come back to 681 right now. But the top on this one, just back a few days ago, you know, we were up at the $7.24 range. So again, I got to look at this one. I'm going to say, okay, I got this a whole lot earlier. I got this one a whole lot earlier than what it shows right now. So what am I going to do with that? That's a tough one. If I was looking at Pendle, would I jump in at $6.80? The answer would be no. I'm not jumping in at $6.80. I just feel that this is one of those ones where I look at that I like it. It's in my top 20, but I already have Pendle and I already have it much lower. I got it like $2 or $3 or whatever. So, you know, I'm not jumping in here at 680. If I didn't have any Pendle at all, is this a coin that I would jump in at $6.80? The answer again would be no. At $6.50, maybe a very small bag. Maybe I would buy put 10 or 15 or 20% at most of my budget. Again, you know, if I was doing that, maybe I put 20% at $6.50, 20% at $6, 20% at $5.50, 20% at $4, and maybe 20% if it goes a little bit lower than that. I'm not sure. Maybe I put in a little bit more at $5.50. Maybe I put in 40%. I'm not sure we get down to $4. Maybe we do. So you know, when you look at that, it's tough. It's tough. Some things I just let it go. So I'll have an area of interest. I'll say I will get into Pendle. I don't have any if we get into the $5 to $6 region. That would be more something that feels and fits my trading narrative and my trading style. Because you remember that traders, we all trade a little bit different. People are going to connect with me more who trade a little bit more like I trade and like the way I trade. There are certain people that trade a certain way and I don't necessarily connect with them because of the way that they trade. So this is how I look at it. So am I getting in at $6.50? Probably not. Am I getting in somewhere between $5.50 and $6? Yes. Yes. If I don't own any Pendle at all, yeah, I would probably start my first scale and buy at $5.50, $6. But if your risk appetite is a bit higher and you love this a lot more, you know, $6.50 might be okay. Shoot, you might jump in between here and $6.80. If we get to $30, getting it at $6.50 is, you know, 5x, that's not bad, or 4.5x. So just be careful with this one. Let's look at the tokenomics here on Pendle. Let's see what we've got as far as, I feel like a lot of the new tokens, there is so much locked up. Here, the supply is really, oh boy, yeah, this is not good either. This is, yeah. I mean, there's 153, total supply of 258 million, and the circulating supply is 153 million. Look, it's not terrible, but certainly I would like to see, yeah, so you're at 60%. So it's not bad. It's not bad. Definitely, I would want to be looking at the token unlocks, and you can just Google that. I should just jump into it, but I think I'll do it on a separate video. And you can go to token unlocks. When are the tokens being unlocked? you want to know who holds all those tokens and so forth. You got to dig into a little bit more. It's very good to look at fully diluted valuation, but this is the number that I like looking at here, and this is at 60%. And for a new token, that's not too bad. That's not too bad, and the supply isn't super high. 258 million supply with 153 million already out there circulating. So I do like that. So again, I look at tokenomics. You look at the community. I like the community. I like the tokenomics. And I would have to look in the token unlocks and see who's got all that. But the tokenomics seems okay. And then obviously the utility. You've got to look at the utility, and I like the utility on here. And I'm not going into the utility on any of these just because we just don't have time. And if I do a separate video just on Pendle, I will jump into the utility. Okay, so Pendle, be careful with Pendle, but also at the same time with Pendle could run. Pendle could run. I've definitely times where I've gone, I'm not going to buy it. It's $6.80. It's almost near its all-time high. Remember with new tokens, as soon as this busts above, was it $7.25? It's some price discovery, and there's no overhanging bag holders to dump or to sell the tokens to push the price down. So look, it's just one of those ones. Again, not financial advice. Definitely for me though, that if I didn't own any Pendle, I have an area of interest here. But if you really love this token, this is an aggressive entry at $6.50, $6.80, where it's at right now is an aggressive entry as well. So let's look at token, which is the next. This is part of the Floki Inu, a meme coin. The token to tokenize and create tokens. And so this one has been on a flyer, and I got in quite early on this one. I believe the current price is still around 13%. Let's check this out very quickly. I'm just going to check out my chart here and have a look. And token is, it's around 13 cents. So aggressive entry. This is this entry is not terrible. For token, I've got a potential top of about $1, so we could see about an 8 or 9x on this, maybe a 10x. Its all-time high is up around 24 cents, so it's had a decent pullback. So for me, if I didn't own token and at all, I would get in at 13 cents. I certainly would. I would put $200, $250. If I'm putting $1,000 into token, I'm going to be buying $200, $250, $300 of token at 13 cents. And then I would be adding more at 10 and 11 cents and down at 8 and 9 cents. And then if we get lower again, I'm very, very careful about putting in these lower ranges, because if we get down these lower ranges, we may not be in a bull market anymore and they become invalidated. And so this is what that needs to be an understanding, that these prices that have been given on these videos, there are invalidations. There comes to a point where these are no longer valid, that I would no longer enter at certain prices. Certainly if we go into a bear market or the market crashes or we get some kind of global economic crash or whatever, I don't want to be buying at those prices. I want to be out of the market. I want to wait until there's a clear sign of reversal that the market is starting to recover. And so with token, that's that. I mean, there's not much more to say about that. We'll look at the tokenomics of token. I think that's the only thing, and it's one of my top. Oh, that's not what we're looking for. Where is token? There it is, token Phi. And let's have a look at the fully diluted valuation. Not crash hot. We got 10 billion tokens and only 1.4 billion is in circulating supply. So again, I would need to look into, again, and I say this with great caution, because if there are people, when these other tokens get released in the supply, if there are buyers for these tokens, the price is going to be okay. If there are not buyers for this token, it's like you're at a party and they're serving up drinks and they've got more alcohol than there is people. And then they bring in more alcohol. And there's not enough people to consume that amount of alcohol. Otherwise, people are going to have some serious health issues there if they consume too much. So that's kind of a good example, the way I've heard of explained before. So the way I'm explaining to you, you can't just keep shoving alcohol down people's throat. They're going to vomit. They're going to be sick. And so there's got to be consumers for the token releases that are going to be unlocked. So you always got to look at when are those token unlocks and when are they going to be happening and who owns those tokens. And, if it's 3 years in the future, it's not a big deal as if it's in a month or two's time. So you've got to be a little bit careful there. And so we've done that. So now we're at, I believe we've got one more real world asset to go. Oop. And then we were at part 5 will be finished. And this will be coin number 16. It's Pyth. Now, I haven't gone with Link. Oh, man, I could get some hate on this one. I am going with Pyth, maybe Pyth or Pyth. Pyth would be P-I-T-H, so Pyth, but everybody says it Pyth. So Pyth, Pyth, whatever. Whatever you call it, this is a competitor Link. It's on the Solana blockchain. So I'm putting it out there. It's top 20 bag. Link, I do hold Link, but it's not a top 20 for me. And I have some reasons for that, but I'll leave those for another day. But I could interchange Link here with Pyth. Choose which one you want and go with that. But I'm going with Pyth. And so the right now, an aggressive entry, 45 cents. Look, this is kind of where I got in. This went up to like 70-something cents. I already took some profit on this. So I feel like I'm already going to get in a good place on here. It's sitting at around 44 cents right now. It's sitting under some key resistance. So I don't really, this is not a bad entry. If I did not own any Pyth at all, and I was looking to, this was my first entry, 45 cents, I have no problem getting in here at 44 cents as a competitor to Link in this space. There are many metrics out there that say this is a superior product to Link, and those that love Link and hold Link might disagree, and you might be right, but this is the one I'm going for in my top 20 as a real-world asset is Pyth. I would say some other good entries for me that I would be looking to buy is 35 cents or 25 to 28. I already bought a bunch at around 40 cents. So, am I going to buy some more now at 40 cents? Probably not. No. If I didn't have any, sure, I would maybe spend, if I had $1,000, I'd put, 250 in it at 44 cents. I put another 250 at 4 cents, another 250 at 35 cents, another 250 at around anywhere between 25 and 28. And there I built my position. I've scaled into my positions. And then I'm going to look to scale out of Pyth on the way up. I'm just going to say Pyth because everybody else says Pyth, so maybe that's what it is. So that's how that's going to work. Let's look at the tokenomics here. I've got a potential top of $5, so that could be a nice 10x. So let's see what the tokenomics looks like on this coin, the Pyth Network, and drum roll, 36%. 10 billion, that seems to be like a popular number. So about just over 30% of the tokens are in circulating supply. Again, where are the rest? Who holds them? When are they going to be unlocked? Those are important questions to answer. You can deep dive into that a little bit more going to token unlock. I might try and bring that up when I do my final video for my top 20, which will be the very next video. I'll look at, and I may put token unlock actually in the video description. That would probably be a good idea as well. And then you can check it out and see, like if the rest of the tokens are unlocking in 3 years, that'll be probably after this bull market has finished. And so it becomes less of an impact. So that's always interesting to look into that. And so we'll come back to the crypto cheat sheet here. So these are my real world assets that I have. Again, you look at the difference between Pendle. Pendle is near its top of its all-time high, and Pyth has had a significant drop. Obviously, Pyth, from a risk-reward basis, you would think has more potential for upside, and it does, but that's not always the case. Sometimes you see tokens low, you go, oh, they're cheap. Well, sometimes they're cheap for a reason. Sometimes it's because the tokenomics sucks, or the team sucks, or they made a mistake, or they lost a key partner or something, and that's it, and that's all it's going to be. And then other times a token is top, like Solana in the last run. I mean, it had gone from nothing to $13. Oh man, if I'm buying in $13, this thing has already gone up thousands of percentages. but I bought it at 13 because it was a fast blockchain. It was a superior blockchain to Ethereum as far as speed and transaction costs. And I just couldn't believe the gas fees that were on Ethereum. And so, sometimes that's what you do. And it paid off for me. So again, this is not financial advice. It's just educational and entertainment. This is just my top 20. And if you happen to buy some of these coins and make some money on it, that's great. But there's always risk. I've bought plenty of tokens and those tokens have dropped. And this is why I've learned to scale in and then buy at lower levels and then hope to, when they rebound, that you can make some profit or at least get out at break even. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me again from wherever you are. Happy trading. And I hope to see you in the next one, which will be the final 4 tokens, token 17, 18, 19, and 20 tokens that I will be sharing to you. And if you watch the other ones, you already have 16 tokens. And if you haven't, please go back and watch them as I go through and take you through my top 20.